Hey Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video I want to talk quickly about yesterday's propaganda piece in the mainstream media. It's also in the news today. It will likely be gone by the time the weekend's over. But it is about a woman on a plane who was Muslim, who requested a soda and was denied, while the man next to her was given an unopened beer. And the reason she was denied is because the attendant supposedly told her that she might use the soda can as a weapon. I mean, it's a completely ridiculous story, but then again, that's all that comes out of this media is ridiculous stories. And of course, the purpose of these stories is to continue to feed all the brainwashed people who in the post 9/11 era have come to believe that Muslims are dangerous people, hostile people, violent people. This is all based on propaganda and fantasies from the media and movies. Let's just watch the mainstream news coverage, then we'll get into it.
The Muslim woman's claim that she was discriminated against on a United Airlines flight to...
And notice how they just came in with this image of a woman blindfolded holding the thing that symbolizes justice, saying justice is blind, when we all know that certainly isn't true.
Washington. Tahira Ahmed says a flight attendant refused to give her an unopened can of Diet Coke, but then that same flight attendant handed an...
Now, True Seeker, notice how they just used the phrase Diet Coke. They could have said pop, soda, soda pop, whatever. They could have said poisonous, sugar-filled beverage. But instead they said Diet Coke. And don't kid yourself for a second. Coca-Cola might be a sponsor for this ad in the same way they insert, their products into movies. I bet you a lot of the brain dead masses who watch this will instantly crave a Diet Coke.
An unopened can of beer to another passenger. Well, when Ahmed questioned the flight attendant, they replied, she says, saying she might use the can as a weapon. Ahmed later took to Facebook and described her experience. She said she was humiliated. She was left in...
Notice what time this is posted at, True Seeker. 7:22. If we divide 22 by 7, we get the number 3.14, the number for pi, having to do with cycles and circles. And that's what this is. Continual programming and cycles and circles from our media to instill the mindset they want in the television watching audience. Also, look at this image of her here. Her face is fleshed out with a lot of makeup, and one eyebrow is just up. Very curious.
Tears. Joining us now to talk about this and a few other cases is criminal defense attorney and HLN legal analyst Joey Jackson. So, Joey, when you look at this, the first thing you think is, first of all, could she sue for discrimination, and what would she have to have, compiled? What evidence would she need to get this case going?
Sure, Christy. Good morning to you. Look, the reality is this, is that it comes down to what your damages would be. Absolutely, she can sue. Then, of course, it'll be a measure of how she was damaged and how she was affected, and that'll turn on the issue of humiliation. No one, of course, should be subjected to any type of discrimination. And remember, Christy, the country has taken great pains to really provide for people to exercise their religious freedoms. You look at the First Amendment, not only as it relates to freedom of speech, but the Establishment Clause. Establish whatever religion you want, and the Free Exercise Clause. Practice whatever religion you want. 14th Amendment, equal protection. Everybody's entitled to equal protection under the law. And when you treat one person in a way that you don't treat another person, it becomes problematic because we know that apparently, according to the facts, a can of unopened beer was provided to another passenger, and there was no indication that they would use it as a weapon. And so the issue becomes, was she treated differently than someone else? And to the extent that she could establish that she was, then of course her claim could prevail.
So there it was, the statement from the company. We got the commentary from Joey Jackson, someone with a name gematria of 47, who attended Hofstra University. Hofstra equals 33. See him on the media talking about these hoaxes ever so seriously so often. Notice that yesterday from the headlines about her, they hyphenated the word weapon. Muslim denied soda can weapon on flight. The word Muslim has a Pythagorean gematria 24, S exception 33, Simple English 87. The word weapon has a Pythagorean gematria of 29, Simple English 74, which ties in with Muhammad, the central figure in Islam, as well as Jesus' cross and a whole lot of other religious figures. So, like typical, hyphenating the significant gematria in the headlines. Her name was Tahera Ahmad, a name with interesting gematria. 26 plus 18 is 44. And then again, we looked at how our message was coded at a curious time, the eyebrow up. All very suspicious. Today, the media had new headlines. I can't help but cry, a headline that breaks down to 69, another number that very much symbolizes cycles and circles. We're all familiar with 69, tying in with that posting time of 7:22 in pi. Aside from this story, what I noticed yesterday, Truth Seeker, was this. Here was another story about flying. You know, that story took place on a plane. Yesterday, the main story was that there was a solar plane flying around the Earth on no fuel except for the sun's energy. And the headline that CNN kept up for a lot of the day was 5 days, 5 nights, one pilot, no fuel. And what was interesting about that is while they had this up, the top other story was Muslim denied soda can weapon on flight with weapon hyphenated. Well, here's what I know about weapon in Pythagorean gematria. W breaks down to 5, E's 5, A's 1. Weapon even begins with 5, 5, 1. And we're getting this headline here, 5 days, 5 nights, one pilot. And, you know, right now there's a pilot, but I think at the rate we're going, imagine it, Truth Seeker, we know that we're living in an age with drones, remote controlled planes, and we're told that those drones are often used as weapons to attack targets for military purposes, assassinations, and beyond. All this information has been told to us through our own mainstream media. This to me looks like the evolution of the drone, Truth Seeker. A plane that continually flies in the sky on the sun's energy, uninterrupted, and possibly with weapon capabilities at some point. Another thing I want to point out with this number 551, the Illuminati sums to 551, and in simple English gematria it sums to 153, a number of great importance that connects with sacred geometry, gematria, the Bible, and a whole lot more. We talk a lot about that number. So the Illuminati has some very interesting gematria, which ties in with these headlines. And just think about how much plane news has been used, from missing planes to what have you. You know, September 11th was all about planes. The Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Jesuits, whatever you want to call them, there's no doubt that planes are one of their favorite things. Earlier in the day, we got this breaking news about the plane. Solar Impulse, the plane attempting to fly around the world powered only by the sun, has taken off on the longest leg of the journey from Nanjing, China to Hawaii. Nanjing has a gematria of 33, just like Hawaii. It's powered by the sun. The sun has a gematria of 33 with the S exception. So that's pretty much the extent of the message. You know, just want to show how the propaganda pieces are released and possibly even synced up with other news stories. You could say that the emphasis yesterday was on flying things. Look at this. Look at this. Planes, trains, and automobiles, right, True Seeker? Paul vows to derail NSA vote. All headlines that fit in with this post 9/11 era we're living in. You know, continual demonization of Muslims, drone planes, now solar planes that will soon be solar drones. All right, Truth Seeker, that's pretty much the extent of the message. Until next time.